Hello everybody, we've had some really good updates with the POS more recently. I've been using this POS in the shop, accepting Bitcoin payments, fiat payments via Stripe Tap to Pay, on-chain, and doing cash validation as well, and it all works great. It's all you need for a merchant, and I just want to show you the updates we've had. We've also added silent printing natively to the device, so you no longer need to use any in-between apps in order to access the printer inside the device. So it just works really, really great using that TPOS wrapper app. So I'm just going to go through setting up the POS from scratch and show you all the features. So in your LNbits, if you go to TPOS, I have also set up already. I have the inventory extension set up with some inventory in, because obviously we can make use of that now in the POS, the shared inventory. So it'll reduce stock quantity for us and then notify us if we're running out of something. You've also got the on-chain wallet extension. So in here, we can give it an XPub. So if I just go to add new wallet, you can add an XPub, and then it will have somewhere it can generate on-chain addresses from. So they're the two other extensions I'm using with this POS for this tutorial. If I go to new POS and then call it something, I'll call it test. Select a wallet where the Lightning funds are going to go to. A currency, you can do it SATS native if you want to. I denominate in GBP. Just because it makes it easier for, obviously the price of Bitcoin fluctuating for pricing my products in my shop. And then I'm going to click on fiat payments here. I'm using Stripe for fiat payments. We have another video on the LNbits YouTube showing you how to set that up in the back end. Allow Stripe card payments. Now, if you have a Stripe card reader bought directly from Stripe, you can actually pop the Stripe reader ID in there and it'll make use of that for payments. I'm not using that, I'm just using the Android POS. I'm going to click on Allow Cash Settlement. Enable cash settlement and on-chain payments is only available to a super user of an LNbits install. So if you're a regular normal user of an LNbits install and you open TPOS, then these two options, you won't be able to make use of them. This is because for accounting purposes, we add the transactions to the LNbits wallet, and it just has the badge that it's a cash settlement or it's an on-chain settlement. Just makes it easier for accounting. In the future, we may enable it for normal users as well, but obviously there's a security risk there because you're essentially adding the amount to your LNbits wallet. So for now, only a super user can access that in the TPOS extension. Okay, so on-chain payments, we have the on-chain wallet extension enabled, so we can click, and we've set up an XPub, so I can click on that and it'll pull and generate addresses for on-chain payments. I'm going to accept zero-conf just because I trust my customers. LN address funding. This is a feature which some people use where you can actually give the TPOS a Lightning address, and that's where it will go and generate invoices from that Lightning address for you receiving payments. It's kind of a cool feature, but we're not going to make use of it in this tutorial. Enable tips. Select a tip wallet. I'm going to say, okay, 5% tips, 10% tips, 20% tips. Enable selling BTC. So I believe that if we have a POS and it can accept Bitcoin payments, then you should also be able to sell Bitcoin to your customers, particularly when you have those conversations and they're interested in Bitcoin and you say, hey, let me sell you some Bitcoin. So we can enable that. Obviously comply with your local jurisdiction, blah, blah, blah. And then for enable selling BTC. Again, this is also a super user feature, by the way, worth mentioning. You can put in a max amount per day that you can sell, just as a security feature, and then the amount of time between those different withdrawals. So I'm going to say 10 seconds between each withdrawal. Enable printing, experimental. Don't know why it says experimental, because it's not experimental. Ben's Cafe. And it's at 123 Some Street in lovely old Swansea, Costa del Swansea. You put a VAT ID in there. I'm not going to add that now. Enable remote to trigger payments on external devices. So yeah, this is a cool feature. So you can just, accept payments on the device, put the numbers in, generate invoices, select items, accept a payment. Or my personal setup in my shop, and most people have, or a lot of shops have, especially independent shops, have this set up. You have your computer, you select the products the person wants to buy on the computer, and then you say pay, and then you want the payment to go to the device. So this feature enables that. It will connect the POS, open on both machines, and it will mean that the invoices will show on both machines. So I'm going to enable that. It's pretty cool. Uses WebSockets, so it's very fast. Withdraw premium. I'm going to charge 5% for withdrawals. If you want, you can add a default tax rate. I'm not going to add that because I'm going to be using the inventory extension. I'm going to click on Create TPOS, and then you can add items in here if you want to. That's the old way we used to do it in TPOS. It'd have its own items to show up on the POS, but I'm using the inventory extension. So all I need to do is press that button, or that radio button even. It'll automatically fetch all the inventory tags for the different products and then the emit tags. We have another video for how to set up the inventory extension, but it's very simple and easy. And the emit tags, if you have an item with an emit tag, then it's a way of like, you might have some products you only sell in your brick and mortar shop and then other products you sell on your web shop. So it's a way of differentiating between products. And that's it. We can open up the POS on here and you can see all the products are pulled in. It's pretty sweet. We want to connect it to the tap to pay TPOS Stripe Android app. So in order to do that, we're going to click on the little QR code thing here. I'm going to say I'm going to use it with the TPOS wrapper app. There's a link to the TPOS wrapper app. Obviously in the device, you can't open that link. So what I do is is that recording? Yeah, it's recording. If you just Google LNbits GitHub and then click on the link, we haven't got it in an app store at the moment. It will be in the Google App Store at some point, but for now it's not in the Google App Store. And then if you click on LNbits and repositories, so you can see all our repositories, search for TPOS-Stripe. For me, it's at the top because it's the last thing to have a commit. If I open that up, and then if you just scroll down to the bottom, you'll see the latest release. If you click on that, then you can click on the APK and then download it from the GitHub. You'll need to, click allow to be installed from web or whatever. But yeah, do that and then you can install it. And sooner or later, we'll have it on the Google Play Store as well. I've already installed it, so I'm not going to install it again. Of course. Where's it gone? There it is. So I'm going to open it up. And then in there, it says change printer because I'm already connected to the printer inside the device. But I'm just going to click on change printer and then select the printer again. And then if we press on the little test print thing, I can say print. And you can see that silent printing happening. So that's good. That works. We're doing fiat tap to pay payments. So we need to go to Stripe, create a new terminal, which I've already done. And then when you do that, you get this location ID, begins with TML_. Copy that. And then pop that in there. You'll also need to generate an ACL token. So this will be passed to the Android wrapper app. And this will give the Android wrapper app permission to actually request the fiat tap to pay flow. So, or you just need to press that button. Just press that button. There we go. And then when you've pressed that, you're going to scan it with the TPOS wrapper app. Now, sometimes it struggles to scan if you've got like a darker theme, like I have, because it looks at the kind of overall contrast of the, whatever the camera's picking up. And the camera on these POS devices are never good. So a way around that is if you click on this little download SVG thing and then open that up, then you get a nice white background and it'll be a lot easier to scan that QR code on the POS device, he says. There we go. So now I've done that, I can go continue to save POS. Ooh. There's the occasional bug where it just closes when you click on continue to save POS. It's like every other time you do it, but whatever, it still works if I do it again now. It's registering the device with Stripe, but I'm using the Sumny V3H. I'm not sure if I mentioned that. And the reason you need to use the V3H is because it has GMS certified hardware, which is what Stripe needs in order to be able to do the tap to pay flow. Stripe is quite specific when it comes to the sort of hardware which you're using. So you won't be able to just use some general Android POS, it needs to be GMS certified. I'm going to click on continue. So yeah, I can accept a payment in the POS here. If it were a cafe, I could put in a note like, if it's a cake, I could say something like contains nuts. I could change the price. If I'm giving my customer a discount, click pay. And then, generate a Lightning invoice for them to pay. And they could pay it. I want to show you that feature of the remote payment thing because it's pretty cool. So if I open up the POS on this computer, which is generally what I do, I sit here all day and then someone comes in, they want to buy a lip balm, or whatever, and then I'll go to well, should we add something else to it? I'll add a Sloofer smile as well. And then I click on pay, and then I'll do a card payment on this one. And then when I click on card payment, then you'll see it actually opens up the card payment on the device, which is a very usual workflow. Obviously, you can do it from the device as well. And then I'll pay that. And now I can print a receipt. You'll see that silent printing. So good. Took a while to get there, but we got there. There's two types of receipts which we can print. You can print a normal regular receipt for your customers. And if you're paying in, you can, did I cover that? I don't think I covered that. When you set up the POS, you can show the SATS conversion on receipts if you want to for Stripe payments. I found that some of my customers got confused by that. So there is a little checkbox to enable or disable that. Obviously, for a Bitcoin payment, it still shows the conversion rates, etc. And then the other type of receipt is an orders receipt. So the idea with the orders receipt is if you're in a cafe and you want to pass the order to the barista or whoever's preparing the food, then it's a little bit bigger, the font, and it has the order on there, so you don't need to write it down for them. So they do just two different types of receipts you can print. Is that it? I'll show you onchain as well. Check out, pay. No thanks. Onchain. And then this will go generate a address from the Watch Only wallet, and then also it has the BIP21 stuff in, so you can just scan it. Oh, you can see it's turned up on the computer as well here. Going to close that. And then, the ATM feature. So with the ATM feature, you need to be logged in. The app is using Chrome. So if I just open a Chrome browser on here, then log into the LNbits as the super user, I'll be able to use the ATM feature on the device, but I'm not currently logged in. I'm not going to do that now, but I can show you on the computer. So if I go to ATM, because I'm logged in as a super user, you can put in an amount, hit OK. That'll generate a LNURL withdraw. So your customer can scan that. And as I said, I think all POSs that accept Bitcoin payments should also be able to have the option to sell Bitcoin to their customers, particularly in places where we're trying to build circular economies. In those sort of El Salvador examples, it's one of the best ways to get Bitcoin out to people. And the merchants are incentivized to promote Bitcoin because they can make some money, 5-10% every time they sell some Bitcoin. So we like over-the-counter Bitcoin selling. It is good. Obviously comply with the local jurisdiction in your region. We also have a receipts thing here. So this will just list all the previous payments, or up to the last 5 or 6 previous payments, just in case somebody comes in and they want to check the amount they paid or whatever. You can pull it up here, and it will list the products. And then also you can print from here as well. Obviously, because I'm printing on the computer, this would print to the computer. I'd have to do it on the device in order to print to the device. So we go back to cart view. There we go. Am I missing something? I'm sure I'm probably missing something. Oh yeah, cache validation. I may as well show you cache validation quickly. So if we add a product, and then if I go to cache validation, then we literally just get a little button which says validate, and then we hit validate and it's validated. And I can print out the receipt. So the all-in-one POS, everything you need for a merchant, very cheap to set up, much cheaper than these legacy systems we have out there. It really brings LNbits into an all-in-one merchant solution. It's all you need. It's got your inventory in, it's got your orders in, it's got all those great extensions, and you can push payments to zero and do all these funky things. But for me as a merchant, just having an all-in-one POS is great. And you know, you can run LNbits on a cheap $3 Luna node, $3 a month Luna node, or you can support the project by going over to the SaaS at my.lnbits.com. In there, we have some great features like more recently we added, if you go for a business account, I think, you can add in a your own custom URL and it'll sort out all the certification and everything else. And yeah, so that's well worth checking out. So check that out at my.lnbits.com. Thanks for watching. And we'll be doing some more updates soon in the future for you merchants out there. So keep your eyes peeled for that. And yeah, I hope you enjoy the POS and I hope it makes your business a little bit more streamlined and easier to run. Cheers. Bye.